Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about area and circumference of circles. Let's go ahead and review the parts of a circle. We have the distance from the center of the circle to the outer edge of the circle, and that is called the radius. We also have the distance from one edge of the circle all the way across through the center of the circle, and that is called the diameter. Then we have the distance around the circle, and the distance around is called the circumference. Then we also have the inside of the circle, and the inside of shapes we know is called the area. What we're going to do is first find the circumference of a couple different circles. The circumference of a circle is found by taking pi times the circle's diameter. Now when you use pi, do not use the pi button on your calculator. Instead, just use 3.14. So looking at this first circle right here, the diameter is 6 centimeters. So using our formula, the circumference is equal to 3.14 times the diameter. Lucky for us, in this one, the diameter is given to us, and that's equal to 6. Therefore, our answer, once we multiply, is 18 and 84 hundredths. Now, the units for circumference are just going to be plain centimeters. Area has the little 2, the squared sign, and then circumference is just plain, just like perimeter. Okay, for the second picture, we have a radius of 5 meters. To find the circumference of the circle, we're going to go ahead and use our formula, 3.14 times the diameter. Now, they don't give us the diameter in this one. Remember, the diameter is the distance all the way across. So that means we need to add in another 5. So that means that our diameter is 10. If we take 3.14 times 10, we get 31.4, and then our answer will just be in meters. All right, so let's go ahead and use the formula to find the circumference of a circle. Remember, circumference is really just the distance around the circle, kind of like the perimeter. In order to find the circumference, we're going to use the formula C equals pi times the diameter. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first circle. The diameter is equal to 6 centimeters. So C equals, remember we're using 3.14 for pi, times the diameter of the circle, and the diameter of the circle here is 6. When we multiply these, we end up with 18.84 centimeters. The circumference is always measured in just plain units like centimeters or yards. It doesn't have the squared sign like area does. All right, now let's go ahead and try the second circle. If you notice the line on the second circle, it only goes halfway across. That means that that's the radius. In this problem, the radius is 5.5 meters. Let's go ahead and find the circumference. Circumference is equal to pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter. Now in this problem, they don't give us the diameter, they give us the radius. Remember that the diameter is the distance all the way across the circle. So what that means is that we need another 5.5 in order to get the diameter. This is the diameter here. So 5.5 and 5.5 make 11. That means the diameter is 11. This gives us a circumference of 34.54 meters. Sometimes, though, you aren't just solving for the circumference. What if we know the circumference of the circle and we want to know the diameter? For example, if the circumference of a circle is 25 and 12 hundredths inches, what is the diameter? So here's what we want to do. We want to use our circumference formula because we are talking about circumference. So circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. And so now let's go ahead and fill in what we know. We do know that the circumference is 25.12. We know that pi is equal to 3.14. And what we don't know is we don't know the diameter. So we're going to leave d as d, just leave it as a variable. And now what we're going to do is we're going to solve this equation using the skills that we learned earlier in the year to solve for d. So here's the d. This is 3.14 times d, so that means I need to divide by 3.14. That way the 3.14's cancel. And so the diameter is equal to 8 inches. And that's it. So we kind of worked backwards on this one. Let's go ahead and try a word problem. Trees. A tree in Madison's yard was damaged in a storm. Her parents want to replace the tree with another whose trunk is the same size as the original tree. Suppose the circumference of the original tree was 14 inches. What should the diameter of the replacement tree be? Well, let's see. It says to use the formula for circumference to find the answer. I think that makes sense because they do give us the circumference of the original tree. So let's go ahead and take our formula, circumference equals pi times the diameter, and plug in what we know. We know that the circumference of the tree was 14 inches, so let's put 14 for the circumference. We also know that pi is equal to 3.14. The only thing we don't know is the diameter. This sure looks like a river problem to me. Let's go ahead and solve for the diameter. Divide both sides by 3.14. Remember our 3.14s then cancel out. So our diameter is equal to 4.46, and that's a rounded answer. 4.46, what are my units on this? It looks like our problem says that it was in inches, so our diameter would be 4 46/100 inch. Okay, now let's go ahead and find areas of circles. Here's your area formula. The area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. So let's jump right in. Our first circle has a radius of 6 feet. So using our formula, the area equals 3.14 times, let's see, our radius. The radius is 6, so I need to do 6 to the second power. It's important to note, though, that when we're solving this, remember PEMDAS? We have multiplication right here, and we have exponents here. Exponents always come before multiplication. So that means we need to take 6 to the second power first. So we're really doing 3.14 times 36. And so that makes our area 113.04. Our units are going to be feet to the second power because area is always to the second power. Let's go ahead and try the second one. In the second example, we have a diameter of 10 meters. Area equals pi, which is 3.14, times the radius. Now, they don't give us the radius in this one, but they do give us the diameter. And I know that the diameter is really just 2 radii put together. So the radius is 5, and then we want to take that to the second power. Being careful of our order of operations, let's go ahead and do 5 to the second power first. That gives us 3.14 times 25, which gives us an area of 78.5 meters squared. Now let's go ahead and find the area of a couple circles. The area formula for a circle is pi r squared. In the first circle, we're given a radius of 7.2 feet. So let's use our formula. The area equals pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 7.2, to the second power. Now, when you go to solve something like this, you have to think about the order of operations, because here we have multiplication, but then we also have exponents. And what does PEMDAS tell us to do first? You got it, exponents. So really we need to take 7.2 to the second power first, and that equals 51.84. Now we can go ahead and multiply that by 3.14, and that will give us our area. So our area equals 162. Now we're going to go ahead and round to the nearest hundredths place. What my calculator says is 777. So I want to cut off right here. Since this number is more than 5, that means I'm going to need to change my 7 to an 8. So 162 and 78 hundredths feet squared, or feet to the second power. Okay, let's go ahead and try the last one. The area of a circle with a diameter of 12. So area, remember, equals 3.14 times the radius to the second power. In this problem, they don't give us the radius, they give us the diameter. So looking at our circle, I can see that my radius is really 6, because the 6 and 6 are going to make the 12. So my radius is 6. That's what I need to take to the second power. Remembering my order of operations, I'm going to do 6 to the second power first, which is 36, and then multiply it by 3.14. That gives me a final answer of 113 and 4 hundredths. My units are going to be meters squared. Okay, now what if you already know the area and you're looking for the radius or the diameter? Just like the other time we did it, we're going to solve an equation. So the area of this circle is 153.86 inches squared. What is the radius of a circle? So since we're dealing with area, this time we're going to use the area formula. So area is equal to pi times the radius squared. And just like we did before, we're going to fill in what we know. So the area is 153.86. We know that pi is 3.14. And it's the radius that we don't know. So we're going to leave that the same. Let's go ahead and work through our steps. So we need to get the r squared all by itself. So we're going to divide by 3.14 on both sides. And this gives us r squared is equal to 49. So r squared is not exactly what we wanted to know. We wanted to know what r is equal to. So what number to the second power is equal to 49? If you said 7, you would be correct. 7 to the second power is equal to 49. So the radius is 7 inches. Now you go ahead and try a few problems on your own. Use the pictures on the left and go ahead and find the circumference and the area of each picture. Make sure that you label your answers. Go ahead and pause the video, do the examples on your own, and then start the video again to check how you did. Okay, let's go ahead and see how you did. The circumference for the first one should be 3.14 times 20. That gives us a circumference of 62.8. The units are going to be just centimeters. Now let's do the area of that same circle. Area equals 3.14 times the radius. Now the radius on this circle is going to be 10. So we want to take 10 to the second power first, That gives us 3.14 times 100. That gives us a final area of 314 centimeters squared. Okay, last example, circumference of the smaller circle now. Circumference is 3.14 times the diameter. We're not given the diameter in this one, we're given the radius. See how in the picture the line only goes halfway across the circle? That's how you know it's a radius. So we need to double that in order to have the diameter. So the diameter here is 4. That gives us a circumference of 12.56 yards. And lastly, the area. The area is going to equal 3.14 times the radius. Now this time we do want to use 2 for our radius, and that's going to be to the second power. That gives us 3.14 times 4. Therefore, our area is 12.56. And the units are going to be yards to the second power. Okay, that's the end of our lesson on area and circumference of circles. I'm sure you did a great job.